What's going on, everybody? It's the Scene Snob, McManhattan, and I'm here to tell you guys about the scenesnobs.com. We're a channel of variety, comedy, entertainment, geek-related, sports, the whole nine yards. We cover almost every genre. And we have so many great shows to choose from. We have shows like the Scene Snobs Podcast, BTB Podcast, The Guapo Show, the Sports Snobs Podcast, the PVD Cast, Jeff Dwoskin presents Crossing the Streams, the Three Geeks Podcast, the Fandom Effect. We probably have the only Matlock-based podcast called Matt Talk, and we're introducing new shows all the time. We have new shows coming up like the Ear Hustling Podcast, Carpool Shenanigans, and of course, From Some Nobodies, Twitching Upstream, and Talking Upstream. So come on, check out the scenesnobs.com, enjoy it, and please leave feedback. Like, follow, subscribe us, and just let us know what you think. We love to have all the interaction. So I, again, am the Scene Snob McManhattan. Check out thescenesnobs.com. You can follow us anywhere on social media at The Scene Snob, and we will talk to you guys soon. Take care. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Scene Snob Interviews. I am McManhattan, Scene Snob. Thank you for joining us again. And I have two very special filmmakers with me that I can't wait to talk about because they have something big going. And that is the filmmakers from I71Movies, Derek Talib and Jose Byers. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us, Mick. Yeah, appreciate you having us on, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mick.
Absolutely. And I love, we talked about it a little bit before, but, I'm bringing up on the show. I love what you guys are doing. You're building your business in Ohio, and you're building essentially Ohio's own Hollywood. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. Jose and I kind of were best friends, and we love film. And oddly enough, we met at the gym, and I discovered that Jose was doing acting and everything else, and I was writing. And I told him about this story I was writing called St. Gabriel, and he said, "This sounds like a great story." In the midst of us kind of talking about that, we got an opportunity to be in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So we went up and auditioned. There was like 5,000 people there, and Jose was the first one they called. They called him and said, "Yeah, we want you to be in it." So he got a part of his preferred extra. A month later, they contacted me and said, "Hey, Derek, do you want to be in it?" And I thought they were, joking, because it's 1 month later after the audition. Because you get a call at work, it was Marvel Studios, and they go, "Hey, Derek, you still want to be in Captain America: The Winter Soldier?" I go, "Okay, sure, I will." I thought they were bullshit. So I sit there and they go, "Yeah, okay. You want to be a DC cop or a SHIELD agent?" I said, "Whatever you want." So I was a SHIELD agent. And the thing is, we went there and we started working with a lot of the talent. So we worked with everybody except for Samuel L. Jackson, I think. And we would talk to them and the Russo brothers, who actually were doing the directing. And one thing they told us was, "Do you guys want to be the people that are going, 'Oh, please call me. I hope I get the part,' or the person that has the part for somebody and you're calling them?" And we said, "Yeah." So we decided we're already kind of started the business, but then we said, let's really make it I71Movies. We got the title from working from, in Ohio, there's Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati. I71 connects all of us. We were working with artists and creators that were in Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus. So i.e. I71, which connected all of us, I71 the highway, which is kind of our logo. And we thought we wanted to create that here in the Midwest because there was nobody doing this, and especially in Ohio. We talked to a lot of talent. We've seen a lot of directors of photography, artists, actors, gaffers, everything. And we decided, we could do this here. And we wanted to build an industry here and give people in the Midwest a chance to do something that's more centrally located. So we created our own stories. We created got our own team together, and started pushing.
That is awesome. And, being in film school, I remember us all sitting there talking about, not being anti-Hollywood, but being why does Hollywood have to be in one spot?
Yes.
And I love filmmakers taking it upon themselves, like you guys, and saying, no, we're going to take advantage of what our state has to offer.
Right. Now, one of the things, Mick, that we did Of course, there's a lot of indie filmmakers in and around Ohio and everywhere. When we were on the set of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Derek and I, and it was funny because we never filmed on the same day. We were always like a day or two apart, but we both did the same thing. We sat and we learned how the machine worked. We didn't just get, starstruck with the actors we were working with because Derek and I knew we wanted to do this.
Right.
So we sat there and we watched how, Lars, I can't remember his last name, but he was the preferred extra director. I watched how he worked. I watched how he directed. I watched how he got everybody in line. Everything from where you had to sign in your paperwork to get your uniform. You had to cover up. Marvel's very secretive about all their stuff, and which is kind of cool. So it made you feel like more of a celebrity than what you really were. But so we learned how the machine and all the enters worked, and we took away from that experience. It was a great experience. We got to be on a Hollywood set, and it was massive. But two, we gained so much knowledge that we could apply to what we were trying to do here in Ohio.
Right, because you pare it down. We've been on, the shoestring budget where you had no money, and then we're in multi-million-dollar set. We have all the money, and then we're on moderate sets. We learned from everybody that we've been around, and people have been very kind to give us information and take time to make sure we understood what we were doing, because we knew nothing before we did this.
Yeah, we didn't go to film school. We just threw ourselves into this.
Oh, I do not. I went to film school, and I'm a big. I recommend to a lot of filmmakers that I talk or young film enthusiasts that want to get into filmmaking. I'm like, film school was very good for the connections, and I'm not saying I didn't learn anything, and I'm not putting it down, but I learned more by doing.
Yes.
By being on set,
hands on. Exactly.
Oh, side note: my nephew went to Ohio University. And he's for the film and cinematography and all that stuff. And never once did he contact me to do anything with film. I go, Aaron, why didn't you contact me? Well, I thought you're busy, and I didn't. And everybody that he was at school with, like, why didn't you contact your uncle? You could have been actually on a set.
Right.
We have a young lady we're working with now that is in acting school in USC. And we're like, you're getting more knowledge right now being on set and acting than going to school, because you're actually doing it. You're around people. We let her do stuff behind production scenes and things like that. So she's getting a lot of knowledge, like as you say, Mick, from the street.
Oh yeah, 100%. And for me, I everybody goes into film school wanting to be the next big writer director,
right?
And I went in the same way. I was young, and I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. This is just how you do it. And I never knew what a producer was.
Right.
I came out, and that was my goal, was just to produce. I loved working budgets. I loved working scheduling, like all of the stuff that you would say to some people, and they'd be like, really? And like, you're on a film set and that's what you want to work with? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, because at the end of the day, when they get the Best Picture Oscar, they earned it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what you realize is like the approach that Jose and I and Alan and Rebecca. Alan is he does more of our marketing and goes after financing, and Rebecca actually came on after Jose and I had started because she was one of the artists that we had brought on to play a character named Beatrice Quinn in St. Gabriel. She just busted her ass so much for us. We're like, you know what? You need to just be part of it, because she was really doing a lot for us. We said, okay, come on, get on board and work with us. And she started getting on board and working it for us. So she's almost so like another co-owner and producer on some of our projects. We all have our own thing we do as well individually, but we come together, we're I71Movies. But in doing that, we learn so much from everybody, because we're doing and not just we're not just reading about it, we're actually in there doing it. We put together a business plan. The first thing we did is, all right, what's the business of making films? So we wanted to learn the business side first, because a lot of people start off with, I have this story, I want to make this story, and they get into the art of it, but it just sits there. If nobody sees it, it doesn't do any good. So we wanted to roll our sleeves up and get the dirty business of learning how the actual business works. How do you pay back your investors? How do you get investors? Where should your money go? How many people do you really need on set? What type of movies are selling? What type of movies aren't selling? What's your industry standard? What are you shooting with? All that stuff made a difference to us.
Yeah, and it really does. That's a huge thing, and a lot of indie filmmakers don't ever fully understand it. There's not even a lot of reading material out there. I find myself consulting sometimes, and I'm like, it's an insider tip, really.
Right. It's like a super secret that nobody talks about. It's like you just happen to stumble and find out about it. But once you find out about it, you start navigating through this journey, and you get little pieces here and there. You put them together. You're right. There is no reading material on it.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's like that Hollywood kept secret,
Yes.
But like you said, once you get in, and I'm always telling, like I have a one that we're supporting right now, an indie filmmaker who's very much wanting to support Virginia, where we are,
right?
And he's doing a film that is 100% backed by Virginia. All the money, everything, the crew, he's doing everything is in Virginia because he wants to help build up what Virginia is. And
right.
show it off.
Right.
And I love what you guys are doing there with Ohio too, doing the same thing, because it really does build it out. And I think it's, for me, in terms of filmmaking, you can do a set, but is it ever really the same thing? Like, if you do a set and you're like, hey, it's Cleveland, like, no, it's
right. Exactly.
Right. So every time I see something that's like, hey, it's New Jersey, or it's, right across the river from New York City, it's like, no, you're not. You're in Toronto. Like, I know you're. And I'm always laughing about it, and I'm like, but I was like, but why not? Why not do it there? Like, it can happen. I just think that, especially India is the powerhouse now that can make that happen.
Yes, and the thing is, if you like you understand the industry, so you understand that people get tired of seeing the same thing. They get tired of seeing L.A., New York, L.A., New York, L.A., New York. As far as the backdrop, because everybody doesn't live there. Stephen King does a lot of his stuff, I believe, in Maine, and that whole area. So why not promote Ohio? Why not promote Cleveland? Why not promote Virginia? You know what I'm saying? Because realistically, there's beautiful places there. There's ghetto areas there. There's billion-dollar homes there. I mean, and you can use whatever you want to create that environment. So why not promote your area? The thing that I like that your friend's doing is he's getting the buy-in from Virginia, and we have a lot of buy-in from the indie filmmakers. We're trying to get Ohio to understand the billion-dollar industry that is around us here in the movie industry, because they don't understand, well, how do you make your money back? And we have people that have a lot of money that are hesitant to put money into filmmaking because they're like, well, how do you make your money back? Because it is a high risk proposition. And they don't understand that you just don't do one movie. You want to have a slate of films that you're doing. You want to have, like I said, a whole business plan. If this is what we're going to do, we're going to start here. We're going to build to this one, then go to this one, and kind of show them how to make their money back. We have the director of the Columbus Film Commission, John Doherty, who's done a lot of work with us and for us to help promote what we do, to back us and everything else. He's put us in contact with people. He's just really kind of busting his butt to try and get things done to make Ohio a film community that can do something. And I think that working with independent filmmakers, like your friend in Virginia, we have friends in Atlanta, we have friends in Pittsburgh, that we could all work together to try and do something. Right now, we're trying to put a coalition together of independent filmmakers and artists here in Ohio to kind of put if we have a rat pack of independent filmmakers here in Ohio, and we work on each other's projects. If we get a call from our boy Tim, he's like, hey man, I need you guys to do blah blah blah. Like, we go up. We don't ask for money. We just go, what do you need us to be? Maybe a body you throw out of a car. All right, good, I'm that. Or you need us to look at a script. We'll do it. Or he looks at our work. We just help each other out because we're all trying to go in the same direction. And we just think that indie film is where it's going to be at right now, because it's with streaming and they're starting for content. We just have to make our product match the level that can be seen on a national stage.
Mm-hmm.
I would love. I love having you on this show too, but I have another show I'd love to invite you guys on too. It's called Pulling Focus, where it's more geared towards indie filmmakers who are up and coming. And man, I would love to hear like you guys to get like come on there and give us your a lot of your knowledge. But and I appreciate it here as well.
You got us anytime you want us, brother. It ain't even a thing.
I'm always saying, like, I was like,
right.
Now I'm not tooting my horn with podcasts or anything, but I was like, I'm like, the wheels start spinning when I talk to filmmakers, and I'm sitting there saying, like, well, you guys are in Ohio. Like, who do I know in Ohio? Just like my buddy in Virginia is like, well, who do I know here can help you? Or like, you're looking for this. Like, what? Because I think that's what it always needs to be. And that's what I always tout, like, especially with other podcasters and stuff. Like, it doesn't need to be a competition. Right. Your movie isn't competition for somebody else's. It's collaboration. Okay, what do you have that can help them out, but versus, vice versa? What do they have that can help you out?
Right.
Correct.
And that's all over, We all want jobs when we're working, in the industry. So why aren't we helping each other? So that's what I've always been. I love that philosophy in you guys.
Right, because it's already hard enough to do what we're doing anyway, because we're in a demographic in just, Central Ohio, where Derek was talking about, where a lot of these people that we talk to that have money, they don't understand the business because more of a brick and mortar type business. They want to see like a 5-year plan. Okay, how my money is going to get returned to me on my investment, and they don't understand. So we're fighting a super uphill battle of trying to get this done. So any help that we can get or any help that we can give, I mean, it just makes sense to give it because we're all going to be in this together, going the same way.
Yeah.
So,
right.
100%. And I think that's, it's so important, especially now, like after COVID has kind of shut everything down in Hollywood blockbuster studios. Again, I always sound anti-Hollywood. I'm not, I like
that's all good.
I am more of an indie guy. So like, I very much appreciate like film festivals, things like that. And being able to talk to independent filmmakers, rather than going to see the next big blockbuster. Don't get me wrong, I love my Marvel movies and I love my Star Wars movies and stuff, but
right.
You know what I mean? Like you got
I know what you mean.
Once you get in the indie scene, you break away from Hollywood because you understand the struggle and how hard it is to get things done. So, I mean, it's all nice that the Hollywood has all the glitz and glamour and the money to throw behind it. But once you put yourself in the trenches, you get a newfound respect for filmmaking and art and all this stuff because you're in it. I mean, from start to finish and everything in between.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's the dedication that you put into your own work too. Yep. Mm-hmm. You're building. I loved being on set. It was one of those jobs. I always tell everybody. I was like, I could not wait to get out at the end of the night, but I couldn't wait to get back the next day.
Yeah.
Like, as frazzled as you are by the end, exhausted you are by the end. Like it's like, oh, but I get to see everybody I'm working with tomorrow, and like it becomes a family.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we're huge on family. If you work with us, you just become part of the family. We adopt you. We have people that I'll crawl over a ton of people to get the one person that I know that I've worked with before because they need a break or I just like being around them. And it's like in Ron Burgundy when he says "News team assemble," I said, "Want to assemble?" If we get people coming from all corners just to kind of work with us because they are family to us. Because we treat the artists like artists. We try to respect everybody on set. We make it. I mean, it's so funny because we have literally every person from every walk of life working with us. We had a party after our first film that wrapped, Dark Iris, and we looked around and we had hardcore conservatives sitting there laughing and joking with a hardcore liberal. We had Christians laughing with Wiccans. We had everything you could possibly have in one room, all getting along, all melting pot, because it was all about the work and the love of doing film. And that's kind of like what I always say, that's your glimpse of what America really is. You can have all kinds of differences, but it doesn't make a difference because you all have more similarities than differences. And we have people that are good friends that we would die for, that totally have different political views than us or different whatever, and they're just our people, and they're always going to be our people.
Right.
And
The best way I can sum up how I-71 is at the end of every Fast and Furious movie where they have the meal at the table, the cookout, that's I-71 movies.
Yeah.
We are that family.
I love it because I want that in more movies. That's the one thing I like the most about Fast and Furious is when they're sitting there and you're like, this is a real relationship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's us.
Like, I'll watch some TV shows. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
You're good, brother.
I'll watch some TV shows and I'm like, these guys are playing best friends. And it's like, why aren't they shooting pool? Why aren't they doing this? Like, why don't you show a scene where they're actually friends? Like, why does it always have to be turmoil?
Right. It's like you're starving for that when you're watching somebody on a television show or a movie, and they're supposed to be good friends. They talk about it. They talk about their friendship. They don't show their friendship. They don't show. That's the beauty of like Bad Boys and Bad Boys for Life. You know those two are friends. They've gone through a relationship together, and they watch each other. They watch his kids, and it's just you want to see that. Because it lets you in emotionally to the relationship that they have going on. Mm-hmm. It's like we do when we do St. Gabriel. We started St. Gabriel in 2016. We stopped because we had to start making Dark Iris and then all kinds of other stuff we were doing. And now we just started it back again to make the television series. Everybody that was on the cast that we brought back all put their characters on like a suit. Like, oh my God, I get to play Abraham Cain again, which is Jose's character. He puts it back on. This guy's playing this leg breaker named Greco. He says, oh, I love doing it. And he puts it back on. Rebecca's playing this character named B. They just love the characters, but they've grown as artists and everything else. So when we started filming them, you can see the maturity. And because we all get along outside of filming, you see the relationships on screen that we actually have in real life. So it really translates really well. So I love it. I feel like I'm capturing it almost like a voyeur, showing the relationships that people have.
Oh, absolutely. And we got one actor, he's a good friend of ours, named Brian Bowman. Brian Bowman has been in more Hollywood stuff than Derek and I could even name right now. And he always comes back to the character that he plays in St. Gabriel, called Winston. That's his favorite character out of anything he's ever done. I mean, he gets emotional about it. He starts talking like, this is my character. I can't wait to play him again. Like Derek said, he puts it on like a suit, and he just wears it with pride. And that gives us a gratification of like, man, these people really believe in us, and they really want to do this for us, and they want to help us. So, it's a compliment. It's a huge compliment.
Yeah, right. And I gotta imagine like that has to feel so good too, because you're living up to your name. I mean, I figured I-71 was probably an interstate, but I did not know you're it's about bridging the gap between these three huge cities in Ohio. I'm learning more and more about Ohio. A lot of the guys on my channel are from Ohio.
Mick, we'll tell you a little backstory about I-71. Derek and I were coming back from Cincinnati. Okay, now there was another guy when we very first started this who wanted to be part of I-71, and he just never came through. I'm not going to out him out, but we were coming back from his place where we were supposed to have this meeting, and it was just one of these things where it was a bunch of talk, no action was happening, and we were just driving up I-71, and we hit the sign. It's I-71. I said, Derek, that's it. That's the movie name. That's I-71 because it's connected us. And we were like, oh, yeah. And from there, it just went on. The logo that we have is another friend of ours. He's an actor. He's an artist as well. And he drew the logo. And because we had done our first logo, and he was like, guys, I got to help you. And this is what we're talking about, the indie helping each other out. Derek and I, we're not graphic artists or anything by that nature. But this guy was like, look, I think I can work with you, and I think I can give you something that you would really like, and it'll pop. And we're like, okay, give us what you got. And he came out with that logo, and we were like, that's a no-brainer. And we've used it ever since. Alex Clark is his name.
Yeah, Alex Clark.
Yeah, he
very
did
talented.
it for us. Yes, super talented.
We had a lot of people do stuff for us for pro bono,
Yeah.
just because they like us. We try and put people in our stuff just because, you know what? We have one young lady that's not an actress at all, and we'll say, hey, Melissa, we need you to play angel or a demon. She goes, all right, when you need me, I'll get the script and just read it. Go, all right, I'll do what you need me to say. And she just
Right.
jumps right in. We have this other big old country boy named Hubs. He has been with us from day one.
Day one. Oh
He's
man. Yeah.
giant dude with his big bald head and his long mane of beard.
Yeah.
And whatever we need him to do, he just does it. And he is a natural. And he's acting. He's just great.
He loves it. It's just like it's like a minute man. You know, we call them and they're ready in a minute. You know.
And we got this gym owner. We're gonna put it to our new film, St. Gabriel. Paul Callahan.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be good. And he's got this natural look. He's a natural on film. And we say, you know what? Let's bring you in. Let's do it. And so he's gonna play a character for us. It's gonna fit him like a glove. So we try and bring people in that fit a character so it's more natural to them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And we have people that have been with us from the beginning, like so this chick, Sophia Romura, who is like my daughter. She is our makeup artist, and she's another person that whatever we need her to do, whatever character we want her to play, she'll just jump in and do it, and she's natural at it. Mary Petty does our production work, jumps in, natural at it. I mean, and then we have our family that always helps us out. My wife, Jose has a girlfriend, jumps in, Dawn helps us whenever she needs to, and does whatever we need. We have such a big family. London, we just have a good group of people. Tim and Kevin that are just our family. Tom Bassa, we have just a group of people that just jump in. What do you need? Okay, I can do it, or I can find somebody that can do it, and that's how we've been able to survive.
I love that, and it's like you said, that's the way it needs to be. It needs to be a collaboration of just people who care.
Right.
You know, and understand, like, let's build each other up.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And the fact you're doing this podcast is enormous because it gives us a voice and it helps us cross promote, and our audience will see your podcast. I have a ton of indie artists that do quality work that you could possibly put on. We're Jose and I are doing an I71 Media too, which is we're going to do genres of movies and genres of films. We right now we're doing like St. Gabriel is more of a thriller. Mm-hmm. It's more of it's a television series that's wrapped around two detectives who basically get caught in a case that puts them in between the mafia, the occult, and the neo-Nazis. And that's gonna
I was reading about it, and man, I haven't seen it yet, but I can't wait to check it out.
Oh, it's gonna be super dope. I mean, it's got literally we held auditions for some of the parts we still have available, and the dialogue is so rich that when people auditioned for it, I was getting people writing me saying, "Oh my God, this is so fresh! I love this, and I hope you select me for this, please, because I haven't read anything like this before." Right. Like I said, the neo-Nazi guy that's in this has a scene where he's literally talking to Hitler, so we had to cast a Hitler. And
I don't mean to laugh at that. I'm not laughing at that.
I know, but the thing is, we had a guy that auditioned who was really good as both Heinrich, but I was like, yeah, he's good, but I need somebody that can play Hitler. And he had such a smooth delivery that the scene that he's in is going to be even larger now because he can pull off Hitler, and the guy we have playing Heinrich is going to be really strong. He's very menacing. He's very he comes across with emotional performance because every character I have has a huge background. So if you ask me about one character, I can go into their childhood and tell you how it helps the artist because like when I send out sides for people to audition, I give them the whole background on the character. I tell them what led them to that scene. So when I get a performance, it's usually better because they understand why they're saying these lines, where they are in the storyline, things like that. So the performance is a little bit better. and somebody may audition for us, and they may not be the right for the role, but since I'm the screenwriter, I know all the roles. So I know like there's 41 roles in St. Gabriel, 46, and you may not fit A, but I may put you in R. And yeah, but you could do this, and this would be perfect for you because your delivery may be a certain way. And then I'll get people, and Jose saw the auditions, that we have a role that we saw 3 different auditions, totally 100% different, and all of them were right. So it's like, how do you pick? Because it's like, it's like
wow.
Yeah.
Actually, look, can I ask about that process too? Because being a writer and having the background is so important, and I love that you're saying that. Like, from childhood who these characters are. But when the actor comes in and they take over the role, how much give or take is there in the character for them to maybe place certain things to come with their own?
I like the artist to be an artist. We don't hire actors, we hire artists. I don't want to catch you acting. There's a actor who's also a director named Tim Novotny. There's a character named Tom Kelly, and he is one of the bad guys in St. Gabriel. He has taken that character and molded and shaped him so much. I can't imagine anybody else playing it any better, because the subtle deliveries, the way he works his eyes, how he smokes a cigarette, he's molded that character. I like to give the artist room to interpret, and if they go too far to a certain direction, I'll say no, because he wouldn't say that, he wouldn't do that, or she wouldn't do that, or it's not where the character is going to go, because you have a character arc, right? So you don't want them playing it here when right now in the character they're here. So you'll tell them, but you'll let them go and kind of discover what their nuances are, how they'll carry themselves, how they'll speak. Jose, when I remember when he first played the character Abraham Cain, he played it totally different than he plays it now. The character has a different kind of voice, different kind of speech pattern now. Rebecca, when she plays Beatrice Quinn, again, totally different. She had the room to develop the character. So I want them to develop the characters. I want them to bring the characters to life. Like the guys playing Heinrich, the guys playing Brian. Brian has made. There's nobody else that will play Winston. I mean, if something happens to Brian, he can't play Winston. I may have to kill Winston off. I can't imagine somebody else playing Winston, because he's got the voice, his laugh, everything about how he dresses is Brian. And Brian has literally taken his character and grown him up. So I can't imagine somebody else playing him. And the thing is, that's what I want. I want the artist to feel the character. I want the artist to develop the character. I want them to grow with the character. That's why you see, like on Grey's Anatomy or something like that, you see, I used to wonder, like, Sandra well, I think that so-and-so's gone as far as she can as this character. And I used to think, the hell are you talking about? They're paying you money. Just jump back into it. But then I understand that they're going, they've bonded with that character, and they're saying, I can't see the character's growth any further in this role. So then they think, well, I can't do her anymore. So unless the writer or screenwriter comes up with a reason for that character to exist, there's no reason for them. I'll like Game of Thrones, where everybody gets killed. It's like Game of Thrones, they develop a character, and their key was, I really like them. Oh, they're dead. They're dead. Or their character has a character arc and a place to go. I like my people to develop their characters, to give them life, and I can write for you. Like, say, for example, Mick, I gave you a character, and you were like doing something with him. I get a feel for you, how you are as an artist. I can write the dialogue that suits how you deliver a line. I know it's going to be your strength, and I'm like, let me write this so that you shine. So I try to write it so that Tim, as Tom Kelly, can deliver the line the best he can. I try and write it so I know that Rebecca or Jose or Brian, I know what their strengths are in these characters, so I try and write for them, and they just are able to run with it and do what they want.
So how is that when you're directing? Does it come into play? Like you go on, and once they start running with it, like as a writer, how do you kind of like detach yourself from writing to directing that mentality?
What I do, like it's like we did a scene where all these police are tied up and they're being basically beat down, and 3 of the cast members were directors. So I had 3 directors and myself that was actually directing directors that were also being actors on set. And the directors kept going, "Oh, we need this, that." And every so often I go, "No, I don't want that. We're going to do this." But as directors, they knew what angle I was shooting from. They knew what I needed, so they were able to give it to me. I just take the one hat off, put the other hat on, and I think, okay, here's what I need to see. Here's what I need from you. I can hear a line, and because I wrote it, I know that, no, that's not even close. And or say you and I are in a scene, Mick, and I'm telling you something that you're supposed to react to. If I feed you a line that is crappy and it's not good, you have nothing to react to. Because I may have in the script, you're supposed to be really mad about what I said to you. And I deliver it so that you wouldn't be mad, and you get all upset, it makes you look crazy. Yeah. So then I have to make sure that when we run the scene, that there's synergy with both people. I want them together. I want them to practice together. I want them to understand, like a dance, where they're going. And when you have people that are like tons of people in one scene, like the bar scene we shot, Jose, there's a bunch of people in it. I have to, almost like I played football. And so I always look as the director, as the coach. And I always try to be Belichick when I coach. Because if you notice, when the Patriots, I'm not a Patriots fan, by the way, but one thing you'll notice about the Patriots is when the linebackers are messing up, it's Bill Belichick talking to the linebackers. It's not the linebacker coach. If the receivers are messing up, it's Bill Belichick talking to the receivers. So I try to be that. I try to be the guy that can go and talk to everybody. And because I know the script so well, or I know the people that are playing the lines, playing the role so well, I know how to get what I want out of them. So I give them room, but the prep of them understanding the character usually brings people prepared to the set, and they kind of know how to do it. And if I have to change direction, I can change direction. Or if somebody's acting, I catch them acting, then I can stop, say, I'm catching you acting again. That kind of thing. And people know me, and they know they can approach me and talk about anything. They want to try something over, let's do it. Saying let's do it. Yeah. Or I can do that better. All right, let's do it. But, being an independent filmmaker, you have schedules, money problems. You may not have the equipment, all the equipment you want. Like, we just invested so much money in our equipment that now we're able to do it at a Netflix level. Before, we weren't ready for that. Now we are. So we're trying to grow our people that are in Ohio, bring in other people that are from the Midwest or from all over. Because we had people from as far as Brazil apply to be in St. Gabriel, Brazil, Sweden, Russia, and a few other places apply to be in there.
Right.
And we're like,
that's
what?
Cool. That's awesome. And it's great how it's coming together. Like just everything you're explaining to me is like, it's, I love that. It's like that exciting moment. Like, you're waiting. I don't know how do I explain this? It's like a snow day when you're a kid. It's like, it's coming. That enthusiasm, that excitement.
Right.
So I don't mean to make it such like a juvenile metaphor, but it is kind of like, that sounds so exciting at how you're putting everything together and how it's coming together.
We're excited too. A lot of what we've done since we started this is grow. A lot of growth. We've learned a lot of different things, got a lot of different knowledge, talked to a lot of different people, and we were able to apply that every step of the way. So we're just as excited as what you're saying that you are, because we see a whole new level of things that we get to do now. Like Derek just talking about, we got equipment now that we can do Netflix level, which 2-3 years ago we weren't at that level yet, because we were still just trying to get our feet planted somewhere so we can go in that direction. And now we are in that direction and we could do it now. So I mean, growth and knowledge is like two of the key things that has helped us get to this point.
I love that.
What's your favorite genre of movie, Nick? What do you like to see?
It's a lot of it changes for me, but I will say the ones I go to most are thriller and horror.
Oh,
I'm with you. I'm there too.
I'm sure you can see some of the stuff on the wall. This is the horror wall. I got the sci-fi and stuff over there. I get excited for most genres, but like when it comes to horror, it's in a weird way. It's very settling. It's just you know what
right.
you're getting.
Yes,
all my emotion has to go into the movie.
Right.
Whereas like if you watch Field of Dreams, your emotion is like all over the place because you're like, I want to catch with my dad, or
exactly.
Right.
But with horror, it's like that's where the killer is.
Yes,
Safe where I am. Like
right.
There's a detachment, but all your emotions just going into what you're watching.
Right.
So I think I enjoy that. But thrillers, man, my favorite era of thrillers are like that late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's something about it. It was just everything looked hot, like just like you wanted to sweat hot all the time.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And it's not just a thriller. Like a Crimson Tide is like a great thriller for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Political military thriller, but it's just so like nail biting as you're going through.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love that sort of stuff.
I like to mix genres like that. That's why I like to mix them. I like the thrillers. I like movies that give you an unexpected twist. Like The Sixth Sense did.
Yeah.
When you realize that he's actually dead. If you haven't seen it by now and I spoiled it for you, that's your fault.
Spoiler alert. No.
Spoiler alert.
We have a rule here on the Scene Snobs. If it's older than 3 years old, it's okay. It's fair.
Okay. There you go.
You haven't seen it, it's your fault.
Shame on you. No.
I do like a good twist. If there's a good one, I think it's called Fracture, and it's Ryan Gosling and Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, okay.
Check it out because it's like a law drama. Anthony Hopkins committed some kind of murder. It's been a while since I've seen it. No, he attempted murder. So he's up on trial, and Ryan Gosling is the lawyer he hires, a young lawyer. Who's like never lost a case, but like there's a whole twist to it. I think you really like it. It's a really good underrated thriller.
See, I like those.
Yeah,
we're doing it's weird. Like all my stories have some kind of hook from either something biblical or historical or something like that. Like the whole St. Gabriel premise is that these detectives find out that they're the thing standing in between 7 fallen angels re-entering heaven. And they find out that they actually have something to do with it. So they get in the case. They get in the case with the mafia and the occult, because St. Gabriel's a town that is full of the occult and supernatural things happening. But they find out that Lucifer himself actually lives in St. Gabriel. And they find out all kinds of stuff that they have to do. And I have it in my head for 8 seasons. But it's really complicated story, and that's what I like. I like complicated stories. I like where the characters develop. I like stories like that. I like we're doing a horror film called The Wicked Breed, and that is a story that is set in. I'll tell you, the first 15 minutes would be a whole movie by itself, because it's evil. It's evil versus evil versus evil, and it starts in the 1800s, and then it jumps to the present, and you basically have serial killers that run into a couple that are more dangerous than they are, and they end up in a house that is cursed and has possession in it, and they all have to kind of try and survive in this same house. And you find out that the history of the house and what happened to the people in the house, and it's based upon this doctor, Dr. Emil Rose, in the 1800s, used to experiment on women to try to find a cure for his wife's disease.
Wow.
And all the souls of these women are trapped inside this house. And and again, all this stuff when the 1800s takes place in the first 15 minutes. And then it's got action, it's got fight scenes, and it's like an action horror film.
Yeah, this movie is why malpractice was invented.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because in the 1800s,
I gotta turn it on you guys. Like, what are some of your favorite genres to sit and watch?
Like you, I'm horror, thriller. I also like action thriller too, like your Lethal Weapons and your Die Hards. I love movies from the 80s, man. What I was just watching this the other day, but a lot of people don't know this movie, but it's called The Wraith, and it was Charlie Sheen. And that's the first Fast and Furious. That's where Fast and Furious came from, was that movie, because they were car racing out in the desert for pink slips. It's amazing.
You know the car that the Wraith drives in that movie? Do you know
Turbo Interceptor? Yeah.
Yes.
It was the first. It was the first 4-cylinder turbo engine that could reach over 200 miles an hour.
Yes, I'm so happy you know that. Trying to tell people about this movie, and if they do know about it, they don't know that, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
I'm not a car guy. I love that movie.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that movie. That's like up there, one of my all-time favorite movies.
That's it's so underrated.
It is underrated.
Movie.
Yeah, it is. The bad guys in it, Packard, the leader of the gang, dude, he was just a true narcissist, narcissist, and it's just like, wow, man. But yeah, those are my genres. That's what I like. Now,
so,
Derek, you can talk.
Can you actually drink Royal? Is that what's happening?
The hydraulic fluid and sniffing the WD-40.
Oh my god, it's so underrated, and it drives me nuts because it's.
Derek, did you see that movie?
No, I have never seen The Wraith.
You've never seen that movie? Oh man, it's a classic. It really is.
I can't believe I haven't seen it. I watch everything. When I say everything, I watch everything. My wife gets pissed because I get up at 3 in the morning and I'll still go downstairs because I can't sleep. And I'll start watching movies. It could be a total crap movie and I gotta see the end of it. And or I'll find something I like about it, or I'll find something, well, so-and-so was really good in this movie, but the movie was garbage, but so-and-so was really good in the movie, or the lighting was really good in the movie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I say I like every genre, I like every genre. I find something. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, what are your give me your top 5, both of you. Like Remote Droppers. It's on TV. You can't stop. You cannot walk away from it.
Oh God. Oddly enough, let's see. If it was that, I love my favorite movie of all time is The Godfather, but it's not a remote dropper because I'm like, do I have the time to invest? Because I'm like, all right, where are we in the movie? Where are we in the storyline? All right, I can watch this and then I'll come back to it. But I love Rocky, Rocky 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's where I stop. I love the classic Glory with Denzel Washington. I love that movie. The whole timing to the wagon wheel, that one single tear running down his eye. I see.
And there's those moments in history, and you understand why whenever they do those montages or all the award shows, that's in there.
Yep.
Because those are those moments in movie history that just everything in that movie stopped at that moment.
Right. Yep.
It's just locked in.
Silence of the Lambs. Now, for I consider stuff like Fast and Furious. That's in my flicks category because there's movies that I'm not going to compare Fast and Furious to The Godfather, but I enjoy them both.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at it and sit down and put yourself in the mindset of this is what I'm going into your world right now. Like the Star Wars movies, love the Star Wars movies. Yeah. Love my Marvel movies, but I get myself in that mindset to watch them. I literally just came up from watching Tim Burton's Batman, the second one with Catwoman, and as years have gone on, I'm like, I'll be damned. I hated them casting Michael Keaton as Batman, but now here I am years later. I go, damn, if he wasn't the best Batman.
I know, right?
Damn it!
So much of it bringing him back.
They are. They're bringing him back. I said, good. He's gonna be older, and that's gonna be perfect. Yeah. So, and then I loved Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. She was the best Catwoman. but you look at it again, you say that's Tim Burton. That's Tim Burton making them good.
Yeah.
And you look at other people's movies, and you're like, whoa, that is crazy. Hold on one second. Rebecca just wrote me and asked how it's going. Let me tell her.
Tell her terrible.
Mick, I'm an '80s movie guy, man. I
have a feeling you, Jose, you and I.
Yeah, dude, I love everything from, like Derek was saying, the Star Wars to Back to the Future to Indiana Jones.
It's my favorite movie of all time. Back to the Future.
Yes.
Oh God, I love that movie too.
Yeah, Back to the Future. Dude, I even love like the cheesy movies like the John Cusack's Better Off Dead, One Crazy Summer, the cheesy horror movies Monster Squad and Fright Night. Dude, I am a 80s movie guy, dude.
You are, dude.
You know what? I'll send it to you. I did an interview with Jack Shoulder. He did Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Okay.
But he's also done Alone in the Dark from '81. The Hidden, which was Kyle MacLachlan, and he sat down with us, and like really nice guy, but that was for that Pulling Focus podcast I was telling you guys about, and it was like a master class in directing.
Yeah,
and I'll send it to you guys because he was very engaging. He had a great conversation about him. He had no problem talking about all his movies and like,
oh dude, that's awesome.
It was so much fun, but I get it, and like it made me feel because like he was so big in the '80s, but also to hear him like when he stepped in the '90s, and he directed my favorite episode of Tales from the Crypt, and I didn't know until we did.
Tales from the Crypt, yeah.
Remember the episode, and I think it took place in Ohio, so maybe you might remember it personally, but yeah, it was the funeral director whose nephew goes to live with him.
Okay.
He's abusive to him, but he's like a tall kid.
Yeah.
He accidentally kills him and then has to put him in the thing and cuts off his feet.
Yes. Because they fit him in the casket.
It's so scary. I was like, this still scares me to this day. It's so frightening.
Yeah.
And just because it's like such an intense episode. And I was like, you directed that?
Right. Oh yeah.
So excited.
I forgot about that. I'm with you, man. I'm with you with all that. I would sit and watch 80s flicks. It didn't matter what it was. If it's something from the 80s, I would watch it because it's just nostalgic to me and it brings me back to my childhood. And I mean, I was the oldest of 5 kids. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had a cheater box. And a cheater box let us get all the cable channels we didn't have to pay for.
Oh yeah. Oh my God!
Don't tell the kids at home, Jose. Don't tell them how you got around.
Oh, man. But kids today couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, but that's where I learned, all the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Streets, and because I'm a horror guy too. And as cheesy as they are, back in their time, they were ahead of the time. Like Halloween, the first one, it was so ahead of its time, which they almost didn't get funding for it because it was so low budget. They were asking for $300,000, and Hollywood at that time was still like, it's under $1 million. Nah, this is going to be a low budget film. They don't want to do it. Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't known. The only known actor was Don Pleasance, and he was on his way out. He was done with acting. He said, "Well, let me see the script." And John Carpenter gave him the script, and boom, he instantly fell in love with Dr. Loomis. And look at it now. They're laughing all the way to the bank.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's such a let me ask you guys this then. Franchises. What are maybe your top franchises that you think are the most to you or the most well put together?
Well, I'm gonna go with Rocky. If you can get 4 movies out of a character, and then you have
7 or 8 movies now, sir.
Yeah.
You can't stop at 4 because you want to.
After 4 dozen, it's not Rocky anymore.
No, I jumped to Creed. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Watching jump right to Creed after 4. I get that.
Yes. Yeah, because once he lost his money, I go, really? That's how you gonna do me? I watched your punk ass all the way from when you was living in a shitty house, and then you a millionaire, and you gonna do me like that? You gonna do 5, and then you gonna kill Adrian for no damn reason?
Right,
They ain't doing shit. Put her in the movie.
Like, I'm not living in that house.
Oh shit!
Oh man!
Oh, cracky. Yeah.
I
The Marvel. You know what? Marvel movies are the Marvel franchise and universe is the best. And if that is it, you talk about master's class, that is a master's class in how you do you build a universe and do the whole thing.
Yeah, I would agree.
You start off with one character, and the next thing you know, you've got all these people in it. And I did one story, then another story, then another story, then they all intersect. That's where DC messed up. They didn't develop their characters. You know, they need the whole Batman movie, not just jump into Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
you try to develop a Superman, then Did you guys see the second Wonder Woman movie yet?
No.
Oh God,
I didn't see it.
Oh God, you will never get that time back. No. Do not.
Just watch the first one again.
Yeah. Don't do it, Jose.
I'm downloading it as we speak.
It's I agree, and it's the oversight too. I mean, everything. It all comes down to what Kevin Feige runs everything. So like he has that blueprint. Now he lets those directors like do your thing, but I need this story told because it needs to intertwine here and it needs to everything come together. And it's Universal was trying to do it with the Universal monster movies, and it failed. DC was trying to do it, which boggles my mind because they own all of the DC characters, Warner Brothers, and they still couldn't figure out the formula. No. Yeah, it's just all of these franchises that they keep trying to do. It's like, what are you doing? Like, just put somebody in charge who knows what they're doing, and trust them to do the whole thing.
Right. If that, like you said, Coach, you can have you're in charge of the Iron Man part of this franchise. You're in charge of this part of the franchise. It's got to look like this, and we're going to intersect here in this storyline. But do what you want, but it's got to look like this. It's got to have the same kind of the characters got to develop this way, so we can get it here. And that's the thing. Oh, it's going to sound funny. You know who I also like? I've always watched James Bond movies. And I stopped watching them when James Bond got soft, and then he got hard again with what's our guy playing James Bond now? Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
He got hard mean again. Okay, there he is. So I liked it because they took Daniel Craig and made him. No, he'd be hard. No, he'd be. He didn't have to be pretty. He's got to be a badass, and they made him a badass without the. I just never liked a soft James Bond. It was just like, nah, it doesn't work for me. So I've always liked that franchise as well. As I've always watched it. I like to see the creative process, like somebody's signature work. I can tell when it's a Tim Burton movie. I can tell when somebody has their fingerprints on a film. Like one of my favorite directors is actually Quentin Tarantino because I love his dialogue. He's great, and all of his movies kind of have a signature feel to them, and he's great at doing dialogue. So it's like one of those situations where, did you guys ever see Dusk to Dawn?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's one of my favorite movies because it would be a movie without the vampires based upon the two characters, the Gecko brothers. And then you add in the vampires. You're like, what? What are you doing? Is that Fred Williamson, the Hammer?
Yeah, I know, right? The Hammer's a vampire? No.
The Hammer?
Oh my God. It's funny because you remember Cobra, and Fred Williamson was Black Cobra. And it's amazing to me because I love both those movies, and they did it the exact same way in Black Cobra, and you got 3 or 4 movies out of it.
Yes.
They built a franchise because they knew what they were doing. It was the oversight of, we know what to do with this character. Whereas then you go to Sylvester Stallone and it's like, it's got to be this way. It's got to, you know, Cobra was the original script that he wrote for Beverly Hills Cop.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
When when they were doing Beverly Hills Cop, they wanted to make a comedy, but they wanted him because he was, you know, of course, the biggest star at the time.
Right.
And he was like, all right, but I want to rewrite the script. And he wrote Cobra because he didn't want to be funny. He wanted to be who his character was.
Right.
Oh, God.
When they were like, "Nah, we're good," he took it and then you know, of course, made it into Cobra, which is, I love the movie.
Yeah.
But then you have Fred Williamson, who arguably is a much bigger badass because we've seen him, you know, makes 3 more movies after that, and I'm like, he took this character and actually knew what to do with it, whereas Stallone didn't.
Right.
And then you watch Beverly Hills Cop, and there's 3 or 4 movies out of that.
Right. Because Stallone was too busy posing. He was too busy. Is this a good shot of me with my toothpick? Is this a good shot right here? What is this? Let it be. You can be a badass without being a stereotypical badass. You know, you become a stereotype, and that character became a stereotype. Like look, how old is Samuel L. Jackson? 102 years old, and he's still one of the baddest walking around because he has so much swag that you believe he's gonna whoop your ass. You know, when he played Shaft, I said, "Yeah, that's Shaft." He had the cool goatee and sideburns and everything else, and he played that role, and he wasn't stereotypical. So Samuel L. Jackson can play Nick Fury. They made Nick Fury black. They say this Samuel L. Jackson. He's black now. It doesn't work all the time. Will Smith, Wild Wild West, but it does work.
I knew he was going to be a big star when Coming to America. When he was doing that hold-up scene at McDowell's, and he got swept to the floor. I said, Samuel's going to go places.
Oh, my God.
See, I knew that about Holly Berry in New Jack City when she was playing the crackhead. I said, there's something about the way she's sweating and has that white powder around her lips. Yes.
Jeez. I'm losing my head. And remember that, and nobody talks about that movie anymore, but how great was he in it? Right. You know, it's little roles that even if you don't know the movie, you remember her character.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what you look at. Like, we have people audition for us, and they send us their reels, and their reels may be hot trash, but it's not because they're not good actors, because when you're an actor, you have to jump in what you can jump in. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, but they were good in it. They didn't give much to work with, but they shined in it. They stood out in it. You know, and you have to, it's like when you're editing or you're shooting a scene that doesn't have the special effects in it yet. You know, it doesn't have the machine gun blast and the explosion and the music behind it, but you have to envision that as a director so you know you're shooting what it's going to finally look like. When I'm watching somebody's reel, I watch it without any sound first so I can see, can I follow their emotion without hearing the dialogue? Then I play it with the dialogue to see if their dialogue or their acting matches the emotion they showed me. And that's how I can tell if somebody can move me a little bit or help me understand what they're going through. You know?
Yeah, I love, oh my God, I can't even believe we're over an hour talking because I'm like, I'm thinking we're like 20 minutes in, like I'm just having a time. Yeah, you guys got to come back on the shows, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah. And we'll have Rebecca with us next time, or Alan, because she just wrote back till we're doing the podcast. She goes, damn it. She's like, so we'll get the full crew and you can get another perspective. We won't let them talk until we tell them to talk, but no, I'm kidding.
Well, just so you guys know, like with what we do here, like we do shows every day. So I have like 19 shows now, and we have different times. Like this is a full channel. We do live, and we do like this is pre-recorded, and it will be broadcast at a later date. But we have live shows we do throughout the week and stuff. But like it's just about having fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we want to do, brother.
It's been so much fun. Like I definitely, and now the wheels are turning. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if they come on this show, we could definitely talk about like the filmmaking side of things. But man, I got to get you on this show because like we're having so much fun talking about movies.
Oh yeah,
want to keep it going. I just want to keep going.
Know. We just do a whole talk about our favorite movies and why they're our favorite movies. And
I'm going to tell you that right now. We'll happily promote, but get prepared to do a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been such a great
time, man. We had a great time. We'll come back anytime, no matter what. You just tell us when you need us, and then we'll make time to get on your show. And maybe if we get on set, we'll make time to get people get on set and have you talk to some of the actors that are on set with us or whatever. We'll hook you up.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We'll do a thing. Make it a thing, my brother.
That's right, man.
Before we go though, where can everybody find you and follow you guys?
We have I71Movies LLC on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
We have our Facebook pages for I71Movies, I71Movies LLC, St. Gabriel, our television show we're working on, Wicked Breed. We have Twitter, I71Movies, and it's I71Movies all together.
Yeah, no space.
No space.
Yeah.
And you look us up, and we have a pretty good presence on Google, so you look us up and we'll be there. And
we have the website. It's still being worked on, but it's I71Movies.com.
Right. Okay. And you can go there as well. Our girl Morgan has been crushing it for us as far as getting us out on Instagram and doing of our social media stuff. She is like a little goddess for us, a godsend. So we're lucky to get her on board with us on our team. Nice. And she's making sure all of our stuff is current, because me being 2 years older than Samuel L. Jackson, I'm like 104 now. I believe
he's in the running with Morgan Freeman. It's cool.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman and Lou Gossett.
You know what I just found the other day on HBO Max?
What?
One of my favorite movies of all time, Digstown.
I love that movie.
It's such a great movie.
Yeah. It is really is underrated. Underrated, because I was like, what? And what a great concept too. I look at movies concepts and I go, who in the hell thought of this? I say, why didn't I think of this?
Right? If they remade that movie, and I was thinking, I mean, you really can't, because Louis Gossett and James Woods together were just
right.
Yeah.
And cool. Bruce Dern as the bad guy was just like, come on.
I know.
But I was like, if you remade that today, you'd have to do it with somebody like Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Because see, with the Hitman's Bodyguard, I see how they work together, and I'm just like, that would be amazing.
Oh my God, Hitman's Bodyguard, another one. I see you get people together, and it's just like magic. Oh, real quick before we go, who's your favorite actor?
That's a tough one. Right now, because I can't do all time.
Right.
It's going to be too hard to try and figure out who favorite is. Oh my God, you're killing me. I'm on a big kick right now with watching Luther again, so I'm going to say Idris, man, because Idris is just every role he's in. It's like he can play Hobbs and Shaw, and he's right in the Fast and the Furious family.
Right.
And then I see him on like Luther or something else, and I'm like, who the hell are you?
Right.
Like
I like his voice.
Him and Ryan Reynolds, but only Ryan Reynolds because he's just so damn charming.
He is. And I will always take credit for this. When I saw him on Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Shop, I said, that guy is going to do something. I was like, what? I said, his delivery, I said, he's going to do something. Just trust me.
Yeah.
And I saw him walking down the street in Columbus, Ohio, walking a dog, and he was shredded to the bone because he was doing Blade at the time. Wow. And he was wearing this shirt. He's like, his abs were like, I said, is that Ryan Reynolds? I said, why is he in Ohio? He was dating Alanis Morissette at the time, and she was doing a little concert, and it's like, you see somebody out of place. So I didn't fanboy him, because I was like, I wasn't sure it was him, and when I realized it was him, I already walked past him.
That's awesome.
Who's your favorite, Jose?
Screen actor, I really don't know, but They're like it would mix it. There's a toss up, but if we're talking about
The kid that plays Webster,
exactly, Emmanuel
Emmanuel Lewis,
Emmanuel Lewis, that's right, him, and no, but the television series, I'm a big Criminal Minds fan. I like watching that drama series, and I like Thomas Gibson, Hotchner. I like his character a lot. I like the way he portrays that kind of cold, not really a lot of emotion.
So that's your favorite actor? That's it?
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking. I didn't say screen. I said television.
Television. I said
anyway,
actor, man.
Mick, you can delete him, and we can carry this conversation because we 80 guys anyway, and he's 180. But anyway.
Hey,
you had to kill him.
Hey.
It's funny. It's like we don't notice it, but his screen is flickering. We're catching him in between naps. So
we're crossing into the next one now.
Exactly.
It's so cold in here.
It'd be funny. Your next show, sponsored by Geritol, has Derek's face on it.
Look, you're talking to Frank. We got Vin Diesel here.
If you're not sure, get insured. No.
Do you need a catheter? Because
sports depends for men's. No.
Oh shoot!
Actually, now you got me thinking, and I want to ask you guys this real quick. I know we're going long, but favorite sports movie.
Ooh.
That's a good one. You know what? Mine would probably be what was the one with the Cleveland Indians and Charlie Sheen?
Major League.
Major League, because it was hilarious. You had the Billy Bob Thornton and Jabu,
Nice too.
See, I won't let Rocky count because it's a sports movie, but it's a movie too. Yeah. I would go the original Longest Yard. I love the movie Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds, and I also loved. Have you guys ever seen North Dallas 40?
Oh yeah, Nolte.
Yep. Love North Dallas 40.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the most realistic in terms of how he's just his body and like how everything is going for football.
Right.
Just watching him, I'm just like, yeah, I know what that's like.
I know you guys haven't seen this. Is a test. I know you haven't seen this. Have you ever seen One on One with Robbie Benson?
No.
All right. If you ever get a chance, look at it. It's a sports movie, and Robbie Benson plays a basketball star that gets a scholarship, and the coach from North Dallas 40 is his basketball coach.
Okay.
And it's all about how he wasn't playing the way they wanted him to, and he said, we want you to give up your scholarship, and he wouldn't do it. So the coach basically treats him like absolute garbage and takes away he takes away his tutor, takes away everything to make this kid quit. And then he fights through it and tries to stay on the team through every dirty thing they did to this kid. It was a really good story. I saw it when I was a kid, so that would be back in I think 1914. I remember it was a silent movie. Somebody's playing the organ. No, but you gotta see it, it's like in the 70s.
It's a good one from the 90s. I don't know if it's a basketball movie. It's Heaven is a Playground.
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's
I've seen it.
I'm trying to think. Bo Kimball's in it. Remember Bo Kimball when he used to play?
Oh my God.
That's many moons ago.
Yeah,
many moons ago. Oh my gosh.
D.B. Sweeney is one of the stars of the movie.
Oh wow.
He's like trying to convince this one basketball phenom to play for this one place. It's a really good basketball movie.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid, like the one scene where Bo Kimball, everybody's trying to get the dollar taped to the top of the why am I losing my mind? Backboard. Right. And they can't get it. And then he goes up and he snatches it and comes down, but he left 4 quarters up at the top. And that was like after that movie, we would go down to the courts and play, and we're just like, All right, I don't know if I could put the 4 quarters up, but we all tried to do the dollar. Good practice, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But there's movies like that. It's movies that make you feel something, or like you just want to not emulate them in a way that, like, when I'm watching horror movies, I don't want to emulate anything.
Right.
But it's filmmakers. That's what they want to do. They want to create stuff that, like, makes people feel that way.
Right. You want to create your own. That's one thing I love about screenwriting. You get to create your own universe. Like St. Gabriel doesn't exist anywhere but on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I put what I wanted in it, put who I wanted it, put what I wanted to see in it. I try to make a multi-cultural cast. I create my own world, and I'm a big comic book nerd. So I've been reading comic books, drawing comic books since I was a child, and so I said I took that and put it into movie making. When I see stuff in storyboards because I used to draw comics. I went to school for art, and that's what I do. I see stuff in storyboards. So it was crazy to see. To do movies because everything kind of worked together for me.
Mm-hmm.
Went to school for art, was able to use I'm not a great artist, but I was able to use my training to turn it over into filmmaking. I use my way to tell comic book stories to turn it into how I want to do noir type of filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that stuff.
I love it. I love what you guys are doing. This has been so much fun.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yes,
thank you guys
likewise.
so much.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you back on because we're gonna have more fun talks like this.
Oh God,
absolutely.
Yeah. Anytime you want us, bro, just let us know. We'll make it work.
And now we got past the initial, like, interview part.
Right.
Now we'll promote, and then it's like, all right, what are we watching?
Now we can go into a little bit more of our history because there's some funny stuff that we didn't get to say in the beginning of just different things. Like, we'll talk about the audition for Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Oh, God,
that's a whole nother story because we didn't get to tell that. And then we'll talk about how we wanted to do our own filmmaking after we're going to a couple other people's sets and seeing what they're doing, and we're like, oh hell no, we can't be doing this.
I love it.
Yeah, so we'll go on that later.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got we got jokes and stories.
Oh, we got tons of them, brother.
That's what I love doing about these. I love meeting people and hearing stories, so I'm all for it.
Cool.
But yes, guys, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for having us.
We appreciate it, brother. Like I said, anytime you need us, we're here.
Yep,
absolutely. And like, if we can promote for you guys, or like you guys are like, listen, hey, can we jump on a show and talk about something? Yes, let me know, and we'll get you on.
Absolutely. We got a bunch of actors that work with us, and if you need some more interviews and want to interview some of the cast that we have, they'd be more than happy to come on and speak with you about their role and how they came to be where they're at and how they met with us. So
100%, I would love that. Yeah, I love talking to people, especially creative people who it's great stories. It always is.
What we'll do is when we get ready to do St. Gabriel, and we're shooting in March 22nd to April 3rd. What we can do is, if you want us to come on sometime in beginning of March, we can bring on some of the cast with us. Like, we'll bring on Rebecca and Brian and Tim that are playing some of the main characters, and Tom, and talk about how they're kind of created themselves and everything else.
You know what? I have you mind if I send you a friend request?
No, do it. Yeah, absolutely.
We can keep up with each other because I have an idea for that then. So that way we can, like, make the whole thing about St. Gabriel.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Talib and Jose Byers from I71Movies. Guys, go check it out. Follow, support. This is what we do. This is how we keep things going, keep the dreams alive. So, again, I am Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Jose, for being on the show.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mick. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate your time.
Head over to scenesnobs.com, and there will be, this will be up and everything else. So, like, you can go follow us there. And that's our show, everybody. Thanks for listening. I am Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob. We always appreciate you guys tuning in and commenting along and everything else. Go check out this show or any of our other shows on thescenesnobs.com. Thescenesnobs.com. We love you. You guys are awesome. And if you would like, follow and subscribe to our social media. That really helps us go a long way. And please spread the word. Tell your friends. Have them come in. We love feedback and everything else. So everybody, you have a great day. Again, thanks for listening. TheSceneSnobs.com. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.